Hello, my brave companions, and welcome to episode 8 of Eldritch Castle. I call this one Fire and Eyes, Fire and Ice. So I think this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode, and hopefully I'll be able to get the next episode out a little faster. Inevitably, there come moments in this story where I feel like the viewers really need a say in this, even though it would be nice to give you all a longer episode. I don't want to force any kind of certain duration. I want to go more off of when seems to be a good point where I want to check in with you so that you all can have some influence on what's going on. I've seen a lot of comments that lead me to believe some people are under a bit of a wrong impression about what augury does. When you cast augury or perform it as a ritual, it's not that you can just ask any question about anything to get any kind of answer. If you read the spell description, it's very specific. It has to do with you asking about a certain course of action that you could take within the next half an hour. And the spell will tell you if things bode well or not well or what have you regarding that course of action. So you'll see the Apprentice using this here shortly, and hopefully to good effect. I hope you enjoy this one, and as always, best of luck to you. You are wounded, but not defeated. The devils were able to quickly overwhelm you, and had it not been for Vlorgenthrix, they surely would have killed you. What treacherous and horrid fiends! Could it truly be that Zdravno was willingly bargaining with them? Or did they feed you nothing but lies? And if Zdravno is currently in discussion with the Devil's Master, where is that taking place? You have yet to find out exactly where your mentor is. So much is a mystery still, and you are determined to unravel it and to get to the bottom of things. You are in some amount of pain and wearing down, but you still have a number of spells at your disposal. You decide that since time is of the essence, you need to keep going for now. You go back to the throne room, with Lucia skittishly slinking around not far off. The stained glass window here must have been quite lovely, but it is no more than a pile of demolished fragments at this point. You look at the tiny chips of colored glass, sifting through them for anything of interest, any kind of clue. It's impossible to tell what the full image was before being destroyed. The only thing that you can make out is that one fragment has part of an eye, perhaps a child's eye or a young person's eye. There are certainly a multitude of different colors among the fragments. It's no use. You gaze out the window, looking down over a corner of the courtyard. Night is not far off, and the gloomy clouds overhead are ceaseless. Now, what about this chandelier? One of its chains is busted, and it is missing a couple of candles. You lower it to the ground and look it over. There are tiny scratches, claw marks in its wood. They are superficial, and you imagine the imp had been swinging from this. You look it over as thoroughly as you can, but nothing about it catches your attention. You raise the chandelier gently back in place. Around the room you stroll, your eyes scanning things over. You peer behind the tapestry, into the fire that is starting to dwindle. Over the only table, there are a few pieces of busted up furniture near it, and on top of it is a bowl and a stained cloth. The bowl has a bit of residue in it, and it smells of incense. It seems to have been used to carry or even mix magical components. Looks like highly valuable and strong-smelling incense was in here, though nothing remains but a bit of dust. You run your finger over your divining cards, wondering if you should do a reading. It is best to only do such a reading once per day, for additional readings can provide random, errant results. Fate is a slippery thing to grasp. After a moment of deliberating, you have made your decision. You sit down, clear your mind, and shuffle your deck of cards. You ask aloud, "How does my fortune bode if I continue searching for clues here in the throne room?" You draw the cards in a simple formation and look over the results. They indicate woe. This means is that if you were to spend the next half hour searching here in the throne room, it would be bad, maybe even dangerous. Perhaps it's simply that there is nothing more here for you, or maybe you need to come back later after you have learned something else. Perhaps the imp is still lurking about, invisible. No, Lorganthrix was adamant that it was vaporized. Well, that it was sent back to hell, at least, defeated and humiliated. Clearly, it is best that you keep moving. Maybe you'll return here later, maybe not. You then move through the archway to the east, into the adjoining room. The room is smaller than the throne room. Masterful paintings and lacquered frames hang from the walls. You move through the gallery, observing the paintings as you go. The first is a middle-aged man in fine array. The painting has a brass label that reads, Jaromil Koyosdevest, Father Dear. The second one is of a beautiful young woman with dark hair in a garden with flowers. The label here reads, Mira Koyosdevesta, Niece Dear, the loveliest flower. As you gaze upon the beauty, a voice emanates from the painting.
When Zdravno was a child, he was the most playful and mischievous boy. As a man, he always said how he wanted to build a tower where the children could look at the stars and play happily for hours and hours.
You speak back to the painting, but it says nothing more. You wonder if the high tower here at the castle is the fulfillment of this long-time dream Zdravno had. The next painting is the tallest one. It depicts an old man with a stern expression and a long gray beard. Radek Koyosdevest, Grandfather Dear, a wizard in his own right, murdered by Uncle Casimir. The fourth painting is of your master himself, wearing his favorite doublet and feathered hat, richly dyed in blues and golds. The brass label at the base of the frame states, Zdravno Koyosdevest, High Wizard. Moving deeper into this L-shaped room, you come across two remarkable landscape paintings, one of the Duskwood Forest and one of mountain peaks at sunset. The next painting hangs high above a door. It is a mystical work depicting some kind of cosmic eye. The gaze is deep and starry, and you feel transported beyond the heavens when you look at it. The final painting shows twin sisters, young girls, dolled up in extravagant children's clothing. Yet there is an eeriness to their faces, an unsettling quality to their pale complexions, sunken eyes, and morose expressions. The label at the bottom reads, Elena and Alana Corabella, little dear ones, taken by continual illness. A voice comes from this painting as well. Rather, two voices, as though the spirits of the twins were speaking to you from the artwork.
Great Uncle Zdravno said the tower was almost done, and that he was going to take us there. He said he was going to use our names for the password.
As before, when you say something in return to the painting, it does not respond. The various eyes all about the gallery seem to be staring at you, and you feel as though they are watching your every move. The sensation makes your skin crawl, and you decide to keep moving on. You open the door on the northern end of the room. You come to a long, rectangular-shaped room. Immediately, you are assaulted by waves of intense heat. A great conflagration roars in the center of the room. Near you are two statues. To your left is a woman in classic dress, carrying grapes, fruits, or some other bounty. Next to her is a pedestal with a pyramid-shaped object on it, and a stone door, which must be the one leading back to the courtyard. The statue to your right is a heroic warrior, holding a sword and shield, with a flowing cloak draping from his shoulders. He faces the fire, as well as a dragon. Beyond the flames, at the far end of the room, is a stone dragon in a fearsome pose. You have looked at this sweltering chamber for only a brief moment, when an icy blast shoots from the mouth of the dragon statue. Your mage armor absorbs the frost projectile, giving you little more than an unpleasant chill. You dart behind the nearest source of cover, the warrior statue. What sort of place is this? You do not have much time to wonder, for just a few seconds later, another blast of ice streaks from the dragon's mouth. Again, it rushes towards you, but this time, the warrior's shield stops it. While behind the stony hero, the dragon's breath cannot reach you. Nonetheless, it tries again and again, at frequent intervals. The heat of this room is punishing, and you do not know how long you can stand being in here. If you time things just right, you are confident that you could run back out of the room between the frost attacks without any chance of being struck.